She is regarded as Kenya's political iron lady, sharp, tough-talking and principled. She is the only woman to have resigned from cabinet in Kenya and walked out on 2 sitting presidents at separate functions. Martha Wangare Karua, The Untold Story. My name is Duncan Haemba. Martha Wangare Karua is not your ordinary Kenyan politician, but a woman of firsts in several spheres. At the mere age of 35 years, as Kenya transitioned from single to multi-party democracy, Karua vied for the Gishugu parliamentary seat on a Democratic Party ticket in the highly contested 1992 general election and won, despite having been shortchanged at Ford Asili during party primaries. She became among the first ever female members of parliament to be elected under the multi-party politics, which were male-dominated. However, she hit the headlines in the year 2001 when the nation woke up to the news that an opposition member of parliament had done the unthinkable at that time. Perhaps because it was a woman involved. Martha Karua had walked out on the sitting president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. It was on Saturday, 16th June 2001 to be precise, when the DP lawmakers stormed out of the meeting as the president rose to address the meeting at the Moi Kerugoya Stadium.
I think there was a fundraiser by the president, Moi, who was very fond of fundraisers, and it was for education. And I remember, because the Kirinyaga was an opposition zone, all the members of parliament, except me, refused to come and meet Moi. Although I was a die-hard opposition, he was my president because he was the president of the country, whether you voted for him or not. So I said I'll give him that recognition as the head of state, and I went to meet him at Kerugoya Girls.
A meeting had been convened earlier to iron out any sticking issues and perhaps amend the event's program before the leaders trooped to the Moi Kerugoya Stadium for the fundraiser. It was meant to be an ice-breaking session. The government had ventured into the larger Kirinyaga district, which was predominantly an official opposition zone. It was a Mwai Kibaki-led DP political territory.
And after that, we proceeded to the stadium for a Harambee. And all was going well. I was even given a place on the front row. I was sitting 3 seats away from the president. And one of his chairmen, local chairmen, started talking ill of the opposition, actually saying that we are mad, we opposition people, to imagine that Kenya could ever be ruled from Othaya. He meant thinking Mwai Kibaki would ever become president. And I thought that was in very bad taste, because opposition was by law recognized in the Constitution. We had a legitimate mandate to carry on opposition politics, hoping to one day be in government.
The official opposition had been rattled, and the lioness of Kenyan politics could not take it lying low. She requested to be given a chance, an opportunity to reply. That is when trouble began, resulting into the dramatic session that made headlines later and went down in the annals of history.
So I just asked the Kanu people sitting next to Moi, and I remember it was Henry Kosgei, who was the Minister for Education, J.J. Kamodo, I can't remember which ministry he had. They were sitting next between me and Moi. And I told them to indicate to the president that I wanted to speak to him. And they were refusing, but he heard me in an agitated manner talking to him, and he turned my direction. So I asked him how he could allow his chairman to insult the opposition in my presence.
Her quest for an opportunity to address the crowd had hit a snag. Karua says she knew it was time to make a split-second decision. Outwitted by powerful government machinery, yes, but she had to make a loud political statement. She braced herself, perhaps invoked the spirits of courage from her ancestors, and whispered a prayer to her God. Then came the dramatic session.
So I just surveyed the front and I saw that where the president would go to speak, where his mic was, there was an entrance. And I realized security-wise, I can't go behind him. I'll be like attacking him. And I noticed another entrance on the left side, a few paces away, and I knew that would be my entrance route. So when he rose to speak, I gathered my things. The minister seated next to me and the police commissioner in my back realized I was leaving. And the late Kamodo and the commissioner then, Mr. Washira, started speaking to me in Kikuyu, begging me not to leave. I didn't answer them. I just went in front of Moi's days, gave him the DP salute, and walked away. People started to make noise, the Kanu people. Then they realized nobody is moving, not the president, not the police. Dead silence fell.
The former State House controller Matere Kiriri was then Member of Parliament for Kirgoya Kutus, who attended that function.
Those days when the president came to a district, he normally allowed the member of parliament for that particular constituency where the occasion is held to speak. He also allows the senior-most politician in that to speak. During that time, I was both the member for Karua Kutus, which is now the Central Kirinyaga, and also the opposition's Shandu cabinet member. So the president or his people decided that I should speak on behalf of the rest of the others.
He admits that being a presidential function where protocol is implemented to the latter, the script must have been crafted and fine-tuned much earlier.
For some reason or the other, President Moi's handlers didn't think that way. And what made Mother Karua walk out, I am not quite sure I can remember what touched the button. You know, in history, we have three types of causes of a war. The first one is remote causes, something that you may have quarreled, the countries may have quarreled before. The second one is immediate causes, what actually causes people to think that they should fight each other. The third one is the occasion. The occasion. I mean, the occasion is the thing that triggers the war. You had already decided you are going to the war. So as far as the walkout of Mother Karua was concerned, I am not quite sure I know what was the occasion that triggered her walkout.
In solidarity, Moya Member of Parliament at the time, Alfred Nderito, is said to have left the meeting silently as well, as Karua waved in the air a clenched DP salute on her way out. Kireri, a DP legislator who had addressed the gathering, remained put.
We never wanted to cause trouble. You know, Mother Karua walked out, and she didn't cause any trouble. She did not call for demonstrations. She walked out peacefully, because she was disappointed.
The questions that lingered on many people's minds was what prompted Karua's walkout on the president? Where did a woman get such courage to walk out on a sitting president as he gave his address? And why was she doing it for a second time?
Had I not done that, because I was asking myself, how will I speak? As actions speak louder than words. All I wanted is to reinforce in the minds of the people of Kirinyaga and the people of Kenya that the opposition is not only legitimate, but the law is bigger than the president of the country. The law is above everybody. And that really was my walkout.
People just kept quiet. The reaction was people just kept quiet. There was no shouting. There was, people just kept quiet. A few people, of course, one or two, a few people followed Mother Karua, but people just were peaceful. Nothing strange happened.
Was she not afraid of walking out on a president who was on his feet? What was going on in her mind as she walked away amid the tension?
This I must do, and I did. Because for my honor, the honor of my party and the opposition, how can we be insulted and I appear to be acquiescing? I know I cannot make noise in a presidential meeting, but I can walk out.
I mean, there is no difference between a man and Karua. I mean, Karua is a leader of her own self. She's very brave. She holds on principles. She is very principled, terribly principled, or probably over principled. I'm sorry, but she is very principled. When she thinks about an idea, it's very difficult to oppose her. It's very difficult. She doesn't give up.
That was the second time Karua had walked out on President Moi. The first time was in Hagishugu constituency.
In those days, politics was not as how do I describe it today? It was not that polarized. It was people didn't feel so strongly, so that you would want to kill another one. No, not those days. Those days, mark you this. There is one thing that Moi believed in and trying to implement, and it did: peace. You know, Moi, this slogan of his were peace, love, and unity. Moi believed in that, and he implemented that. He was very sincere about the country being peaceful, the country being united, and of course, as a Christian, he thought we should love each other.
A matter that Materi Kerere attributes to high levels of political tolerance in those days.
And in those days, there was no violent reaction to anything. I mean, you could, and even the clashes only happened during the election weeks. And thereafter, people accepted what happened quickly. I mean, the following week, there was no clashes.
This is KTN News. Bookmaker Company.
how it came, but niliona kitu ya land. Na for sure, nafikiria memory notice ni Range Rover. After that, sikuwa na kitu kingine. Mimi nikamuita, Masi. Nafikiri mara 3. Hakuitika na mimi nikaenda tena blank. Kamuuliza, na Mamolini yako wapi? Ako aje? Akaniambia, si hako mbaya sana, lakini alikufa.
After a long week of hassles and bustles, welcome to Friday Briefing.
Good evening there. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Friday Briefing.
We take you through the events of the week.
The account was not in my name. They were only lying, but the account was not in my name. I know where the account is.
If polygamous is what is going to sort us out, let's go there.
With his side sole try in the first half, cuts back in field.
This is Friday Briefing.
Cancer is one of the leading non-communicable diseases in Kenya that has caused anguish, poverty, and even death to many families in the country.
It was showing there is a tumor. And then CA. So me, I said, no, CA must be cancer.
We have met patients who will tell me, Doc, I feared to come for chemotherapy because I was told it will burn my hand.
Majority of cancers are hidden.
On Health Digest, we bring you this treatment and management through the eyes of the survivors and those patients going through cancer and their health providers.
Cancer is not a death sentence, and the treatment of cancer is multidisciplinary.
Harpic Mini gives you complete cleaning at one go.
Wow!
Harpic Mini only 100 shillings.
The real value champion.
Just like you.
This is KTN News.
On November 29, 2016, in the run-up to the August 2017 general election, a similar scenario played out, but the context was different. Martha Karua stormed out of a Jubilee presidential campaign rally, with President Uhuru Kenyatta on the entourage, still in Kirinyaga when Jubilee supporters allied to her rival in the governorship race drowned her voice when she was addressing them. They were demanding that Karua quits her NARC Kenya party and joins Jubilee, an idea she would not entertain. She left the campaign trail in a huff.
This occasion, Waiguru and Ruto did not come face to face, perhaps by design. In Kerugoya town, Karua and Ruto, also not known to be friends, shared a car, with Ruto extending an invite to Karua to address the crowd. It did not go down well. Ending with Karua's three-finger salute, a sign of defiance for the lady who has refused to dissolve her Na Kenya party in favor of Jubilee. Ruto attempted to come to her aid.
Hawa wananchi wanasema hawana shida na wewe, shida ni chama.
I don't think there's even time to process fear. It's just expressing. I'm never afraid to express myself. So I'm being told to join Jubilee. You cannot compete with a crowd that is chanting, and that has been set a certain way. But I can communicate. And I did communicate by giving my party's three-finger salute, so that you can shout your party, and I will speak to you through a different method and tell you this is where I stand. So that after that meeting, I'm still able to tell my supporters we are still on the same course. Otherwise, I'll be giving them body language that I have succumbed to the mass calls. Yeah.
Pulling off her many fasts did not end there or start then. In April 2009, and after having fought so hard for then President Mwai Kibaki's second term in office, Karua resigned as a cabinet minister while the president was away in Lusaka, Zambia on official state visit.
Very, very short statement that today I've tendered my resignation as Minister for Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs.
It was Mother Karua's brief statement that ended days of speculations that she was on her way out of government, thanks to what she called a systematic campaign to undermine the reform process, which is the basis of her ministry.
I feel my position as minister is untenable following recent events in government.
That recent event is President Kibaki's defense of the Chief Justice Ivan Gisheru, who is accused of derailing the much-needed judicial reforms being advocated by the Gishugu MP.
I have taken political responsibility for everything that happens in my docket. So this is nothing to do with that. This is about feeling obstructed in the performance of my duties.
She dramatically resigned from an influential post as Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, a position that was held for the first time in Kenya by a woman.
I'll now be able to totally disagree with anything that is anti-reform, anything that points towards opaqueness, corruption, and lack of transparency.
Such incidents have earned her condemnation and praise in equal measure, and the title Karua, the Iron Lady. But she says,
I really wouldn't say the reasons because I do not know the psyche of the person who invented that. But a name really doesn't matter.
This is KTN.